Now, this is In the Locker, where we talk about the skills that you need to have in your locker as a professional to make it in football. A couple of months ago, I was sitting with Eddie Newton talking to a player, and the player was telling us that he wasn't starting. And Eddie said to the player, you know, the manager likes you, but that's not enough. He has to trust you. And as those words came out of Eddie's mouth, we all kind of realized that this is something that's somehow so obvious and yet so important that you've actually got to think about it all over again. The manager likes you, but that's not enough. He has to trust you. And the question is, how do you make a manager trust you? And this is what I said to Eddie as we were traveling home. And Eddie said to me, well, there are three things. The first thing is, you've got to do all the basics. Basics are things like, if you're a number 7, for example, offensively, get on the back post, link with a striker, do your work. Defensively, screen with a fullback, double up with a fullback. Now, you all play different positions. You know the basics of your positions. The thing is, you have to do all the basics all the time, because getting your manager to trust you is like getting your girlfriend to trust you. It's not enough if he trusts you 99%. He has to trust you to do everything. So that was Eddie's first point about getting the manager's trust, is do all the basics. The second thing you've got to do is you've got to know the overall game plan. You've got to understand the game plan. And you've got to show that you understand the game plan through your leadership, through your communication. That means sometimes you've got to carry the manager's message onto the pitch. You've got to be the one who reinforces what he's said when everybody's out on the pitch. The second thing is you've got to communicate information that is relevant to that game plan. Remember, with information, facts are neutral. So you can tell anybody anything, as long as you're just saying what you see. And the third aspect that Eddie said to me about getting the manager to trust you is that you have to do your specific job within that game plan. That means that you have to have, or you have to develop, the technical and tactical ability to play out your specific role. Once again, if you're a number 7, for example, defensively when you press outside, you've got to have the right body position. You need to create a situation where your opponent can only play down the line. If you've been told to do a high press, you've got to know to do the right thing at the right time in the right place. You've got to have that tactical understanding to make sure that you get it right. You've got to have the motivation to do your specific job. And having motivation is about doing it as if it's what you do, not doing it as if you have a choice in the matter. This is just who you are. Doing this job is who you are. You do this job because it's normal. You do this job because you have to. You don't make it seem as if this is something that you are wondering about. And finally, you have to have consistency when it comes to performing your role within the team. Don't just do it when it's easy. Do it when you're tired. Do it when you're losing. Do it when there's pressure. Do it when others aren't doing it. And that's a 3-point plan for gaining the manager's trust, which is probably the most important thing for getting yourself picked. Number 1, do all the basics. Number 2, know the game plan. Number 3, do your job. So getting the manager's trust, that's another skill that you have to have in your locker if you're going to make it as a professional footballer.